Night of Champions. So I didn't hear a lot about this show heading into it. A lot of people didn't look forward to it due to the undercard. The two major matches, those being the King of the Ring final and the Undisputed Championship match, were the things to look out for. But everything in between wasn't exactly inspiring. The funny thing is, these are the pay-per-views that usually deliver because there's not a lot of pressure on WWE to make good on something, or the fact that it's a Big Four event. There's none of that here, and for some reason, over the last few years, these are the shows that surprisingly do good. So I don't want to waste time, let's get into it. Okay, the first match in the show is the final in the King of the Ring tournament. Randy Orton faces Cody Rhodes. It took a while for these two to come head to head, but it's finally here. With plenty of history between them, Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton's eventual feud promises to deliver in terms of depth and intensity. It's one of those stories you wish would go down, but it feels like they need some more time for it to materialize. The big story heading into this was not only the WWE Championship opportunity as the prize, but also Cody's lack of wins against the Viper in his career. The crowd was very excited for this one. Randy Orton is always one of the most popular wrestlers anywhere he goes, and he just has it. The fans reacted crazy to Rhodes as well, and there was great energy in the arena. The match also seemed to indicate what we imagined the last few weeks, a heel Cody Rhodes. Rhodes felt like somebody who had no mercy and was determined to take advantage of any slight chance he had. He targeted Orton's back immediately, and I'm going to try to read deep into his character, but it looks like he's officially changed. That was the story of his title reign, somebody who was following the rules, and one of the most notable points where he broke that rule was his match against Kevin Owens. It almost looked like Rhodes was heading down a dark path, but then the John Cena story happened, and it seemed like they forgot about him. I'm glad they returned to that story because it was interesting to see somebody change before your eyes as opposed to having a full-on heel turn. I'll talk about that more in a moment. But Rhodes was the de facto heel, very opportunistic and refused to give Orton an opening. Orton as a face is funny, but even he would fall into temptation similar to Rhodes. It was a well-worked match, but you can see that it's like a free trial, something to give you before the real match in the future. It's destined to happen. We just don't know who's the heel gonna be in the future. Very good match. They had the back and forth, the false finishes, but it was missing something, and my personal belief is that it's deliberate. You know, the match, I felt like they had more to offer. Orton had his moment to end things with a brutal punt, and it's also a great reflection on Cody. Cody of last year wouldn't have done the punt, whereas today, he wouldn't hesitate like Randy Orton. Orton's hesitation ruined him here, and while he did become more of a rule breaker later on, the real chance to win it was with the punt. He brought in the chair, exposed the turnbuckle, but it was gone. Rhodes used the exposed turnbuckle against him with zero worries or hesitancy to hit Crossroads and win the match. With that said, this was a very good match, but it doesn't give the best impression towards Cody Rhodes remaining a face. It just seems like he's on borrowed time because we never seen any of this in the last year. He's determined to get his way even if it means abandoning the morals he had put on a pedestal. I've seen some interviews recently with Rhodes himself saying he's in the final stretch of his face run, and I can't say it's not unfortunate because while it's a natural progression, I still believe Rhodes has a lot to offer before doing that slow burn heel turn. But an interesting match. The heel turn could happen at either SummerSlam or he learns the lesson that CM Punk taught him earlier in the year, that the weight of the title gets heavier with each challenge and he loses it. Regardless, Rhodes' story is one of the deepest in WWE right now. Rhea Ripley faces Raquel Rodriguez in a street fight. Things have gone down different with Liv Morgan's injury. She was in incredible form right before the injury and it seemed like one of her best years in ring. So they had to rush this story with Raquel and Rhea. They made it a story of friends becoming bitter rivals. I think we had an idea about the result, but it's about the journey. The street fight was pretty casual for the first part. There wasn't much there until Raquel dropped Rhea with a brutal powerbomb to the announce table. Great spot. Ripley got back into the match and just manhandled Raquel, which is something that was quite unusual, unreal, and it was another great moment in the match. Roxanne interferes and does absolutely nothing to Ripley's momentum. There's some hope for Raquel. She goes, hits this big corkscrew, and then the big ending came. There's the big ending with the Riptide, and Ripley scores the win off the table. I mean, it went the way we thought it did. The match was much better than you expect. There were some nice spots in here. Rhea looked like a monster at some points, and the way she manhandled Raquel at one point was amazing. It was nice. It wasn't bad at all. Rhea is off to possibly refocusing on the Women's World Championship. The most important match in Karrion Kross's career. His match was Sami Zayn. Now, he's made a lot of headlines the night after WrestleMania with his shoot promo. A lot of his fans are upset with the direction of his character on TV, but it feels like WWE isn't in a rush to renew his contract. I've seen plenty of people wanting Kross to be in a more important position, and here WWE gave him something. It almost feels like he has to deliver here for his future. Even the commentary were saying this. I almost imagined Kross selling like Dolph Ziggler and just doing whatever it takes to secure the contract and the push. Match was solid. It was decent, but I didn't like it that much. Kross took the back bumps, which was a topic of conversation on the internet. I didn't read too much into it. And one thing I hoped Kross would improve was implementing more of his character in the match. Because as an in-ring guy, he's not exactly my favorite. I feel like he's got to add more to his character, and we didn't see much of it until the end of the match. Throughout it, he had the advantage. Sami Zayn was very popular with the crowd here in Saudi Arabia, which is Natural, it's obvious. But like, I didn't feel much watching this match, and that's the issue with it. My favorite parts of the match weren't crossed. It was always Sami Zayn. There was this one point in the match which got me kind of confused. It was the 3-count KO rule. I thought WWE stopped using it, but it seems like they brought it back here. I like the 3-count KO rule, but them changing these rules every now and then is kind of dumb. Other than that, the best part with Karrion Kross in this match is the ending. He displayed some of that dark character. You know, he's mostly composed. Here, he was losing it and wanted Sami Zayn to acknowledge him and all that. Other than that, he didn't do much. Zayn won the match here, and I'm actually left with more questions rather than answers as it pertains to Kross's future in the WWE. Jacob Fatu defends the United States Championship against Solo Sikoa. Family turned rivals. Jacob Fatu hates everything that Solo stands for, and it's funny to see that the Bloodline universe has expanded and gone into a much deeper hole. They get so many of these stories that I wouldn't be shocked if they did a Samoan Rumble in the future. The match was pretty fast and back and forth, but then they had to slow it down. Solo was working, slowing down the pace. He was complaining about wanting love from Jacob, and it was supposed to be serious, but I was laughing. It was just funny. Great overthrow. Jacob no-sells it. He has momentum, but then JC Mateo interferes. Tonga Loa makes his long-awaited return, but this isn't enough to take out the champ. Fatu was going crazy. He knocked down all three of them, had the title won, but then a new Samoan was unlocked. They've renamed him to Tala Tonga. Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa's brother. He obviously overpowers Jacob Fatu. This leads to the victory for Solo Sikoa and a new champion. I've heard rumors about this in the last couple of days, but it's just funny actually seeing it because there's always a new Samoan unlocked. Like every time we saw Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, Jacob Fatu, Solo Sikoa. There's so many of them. The funny part is they have their own stories and their big feuds are mostly with each other. It's crazy. With regards to the match, I actually liked it a little more than others, not gonna lie. There was something to enjoy there. Mostly from Jacob Fatu, but it wasn't bad at all. Asuka and Jade Cargill in the final of the Queen of the Ring tournament. This is a very strange final. I never really thought of it. Asuka here used her experience to take care of Cargill's knees, and it's a simple strategy of cutting her momentum from under her. There was some good action here, but the crowd wasn't feeling it for some reason. For Asuka, this was just another day. She did well here to make Cargill look good, and it was always going to end one way here. Action was good, but it felt like they were very scared for Jade Cargill, seeing as she doesn't have a lot of experience. But even then, she scored the victory. It was Jade Cargill who was crowned Queen of the Ring. The finish was very awkward though. Jade still needs more to be able to wrestle a main event level, obviously, but they're going with her. That ending still stands out to me. It was very weird. Also needed more time because I felt like the match ended right when it should have gone higher. I think the final needed more prestige and honor, not a sudden ending like that one. Jade cut a motivating promo while the fans were booing, and it was just weird. I liked the action itself. Everything else about this match was off. It's a weird one, but I hope you understand what I'm saying because the moment should have felt bigger. It didn't feel as big as it was presented to be yesterday on SmackDown. You know, it felt like a very underwhelming ending to the Queen of the Ring tournament. But Cargill's off to SummerSlam, most likely to face Tiffany Strand. Maybe Naomi will pop out by then. We'll see. And the main event, John Cena defends the undisputed WWE Championship against CM Punk. This match would have been unimaginable a couple of years ago, and in Saudi Arabia, this is insane, but it's here. For the first time since February of 2013, we've been graced with a singles match between the greatest of all time and the best in the world. I almost can't believe it's happening. There's a special feeling in the air anytime these two cross paths. The crowd was insanity, and you could almost see Cena wanting to smile at one point. The crowd understood that they were witnessing history here, and a simple shoulder tackle had them going crazy. Now, there was an underlying story of Punk selling out to win the title. I think we all knew we'd see more of that later on, which we kind of didn't, but here in the beginning, they were just feeling out each other. Cena just looked on point here. CM Punk just brings out the best out of him. He's very slow though, but that's with age. They kicked it up a notch with Cena leading things here. The sequences were good. All they were missing was the speed, and this second AA for some reason got me. I was almost convinced Punk came to Saudi Arabia to have an uneventful loss. And there's the third. Cena was conflicted. He dropped the title and almost cost himself the match. Ref gets knocked down and Punk had him there. Then this match turns into Bloodline rules. Why? Well, they're lazy. Rollins shows up with the briefcase. He teases cashing in. Cena hits this amazing tackle on the referee. It was very exciting. Then they got Penta showing up and aura farming on the ramp like, bro, the greatest of all time needs your help. What are you doing? Sami Zayn was there, and it seemed like Cena and Punk took care of business. They shake hands, and it was a great moment. It felt like Cena had come back to his senses, and for a moment, I almost anticipated Punk mirroring what Cena did to Rhodes months ago, seeing as he would do a lot of things to win that title, but he didn't, and just when he had the belt in Cena, Rollins cost him the title, and Cena takes advantage to prevent a cash-in. It was a good match before all of this nonsense. The only issue I had was the speed, but that's age. John Cena can't magically run around like he used to. But judging by the action here, Cena and Punk just might have incredible muscle memory because the chemistry was on point, and that was the least of our worries about this one. My problem was that WWE just couldn't let go of one of those dramatic finishes. They almost feel like a band-aid to hide the incapabilities of booking a proper finish, because why do we need Penta dancing to the ring? I thought it was cool he was featured in the main event, but then I I realized this is a last John Cena and CM Punk match. Why do we need this? At the end of the day, I enjoyed the match, but I was let down by them once again shoehorning the Seth Rollins story. A story that should have ended at WrestleMania 40, but because of Punk's injury, it's still going to this very day, and it's lost its novelty. Alright, that's Night of Champions. This show was, I want to say, surprisingly good, but it was much better than you would have thought. Solid event, you know, easy to watch. The most impressive match for me, not best, but surprise, was the Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa match. For some reason, I like that a lot more. I thought they worked it very well. So there's that. Yeah, I just hope WWE fixes up things heading into SummerSlam. I kind of get what they're doing, but it's not hitting at the moment, so there's that. Alright, what you guys think of Night of Champions? Please comment down below, and that's it for this video. Make sure you hit the RK on the like button and perhaps the AA on the subscribe button. Peace. I'm out.